Resume the recording and welcome you all to the end of the month full game quiz. This is the same exact idea as the super quiz or the mega quiz that we've had before. Just kind of a touch on all of the topics that make bridge a fascinating game throughout this 90-minute class. We're going to cover bids, leads, defense, declare play, and all these things in between. So let's jump in and start it off. And don't forget, guys, during this session, chat me with any of the questions you might have. If you have a question, other people will definitely have that question as well. And also, don't be afraid to make a choice. Always make a choice on these hands, whether it's into the chat or just in your head, make that choice and get the result of that right afterwards. So let's dance, guys. First auction here. We're going to make our calls on auction number 1. We started in this auction with our hand opening 1 diamond. Our partner bid 1 heart. Right-hand opponent doubled that 1 heart bid, and now it's back to us. So 1 diamond by us, pass on our left. Partner responded 1 heart. It went double on our right, and now with hand number 1, I'm going to ask for your call. What bid do you make with hand number 1? Make that bid right into the chat, or you can type that into the question and answer section as well. Any place you want to go, make your bid. All right, guys, once again, 1 diamond by you. Partner responded 1 heart. Right-hand opponent doubled. What call are you making? I'll give you the answer in a couple seconds. Okay. So a lot of you would see this and just reflexively bid a no trump, right? And it seems like that might be right, except if you play support doubles. Support doubles, in fact, the support double exists exactly in this particular spot. All right, so when it goes 1 of a minor, 1 heart, the double on our right allows us to actually make a redouble, and that would show 3 card support for partner suit. So this is the first hand, and honestly, I usually save the support double question for a little bit later, but this is exactly what we want to jump off with. There's a catch, you guys that might not be awake yet. Hope you got it. If not, don't worry. If you do not play support doubles or support redoubles, that's okay. You don't have to bid in this situation, though. Just let's make that clear. Right? This isn't a spot you always have to bid. But it's kind of funny when you see this. It looks kind of just like a normal 1 no trump rebid. In fact, if East had passed, you would bid a no trump, right? The fact that East doubled just gives you an opportunity to release information to partner. That's going to be useful for them pretty frequently, especially when they have a 5-card holding in that major. All right, let's take a look at the second hand. How about now? Same auction, just a different hand. Make sure I have this thing on the right setting. Make your call with number 2 here. All right, we're all good. Okay, I won't release the answer to this one just yet. Let's do 2 more. And then we'll come back and do that number 2 and 3 and 4. So this is a different auction for these next 2. This time, your partner started with an opening bid of 1 diamond, and your right-hand opponent bid 1 spade. So second auction of this slide, diamond by partner, a spade on your right. Here's number 3. What do you do on this auction with this hand? And yeah, okay, you can definitely take your bids back. You get unlimited undos in the chat. So if you make a choice and you want to amend it or take it back, that is just fine. It is not as penalizing as real bridge. 1 diamond by partner, 1 spade on your right. With hand number 3, what are we doing? All right, so partner opened a diamond. Right-hand opponent bid a spade. Number 3 is the first hand we're going to deal with on this auction. And here comes number 4. Once again, you can always go backwards if you want to amend a choice. Just give me the number. Here's number 4. Same auction, 1 diamond by partner, 1 spade on your right. What do we bid there? Betty, maybe it was. Maybe it was. That's a good catch. Turn these off here. 1 diamond by partner, 1 spade on your right. Okay, let's start revealing some of the auctions here. You can keep bidding if you need to. We've already talked about hand number 1. That was the support redouble, and there it is. Right? Just a nice, easy, free pass of information, basically. This is why this convention is so popular and so useful. On hands like number one, we just get to show partner 3-card heart support in a very low risk type of way, right? So we're not showing any limiting of values here, right? A lot of people get confused, like, hey, if they're very strong, can they do this? Yes, this is a forcing bid we're making. We've already opened the bidding, so the only thing we're limiting our hand to is the full opening range, 12 to 21 here in this spot. The second one is a pass, right? You could bid a no trump with this hand. It's not necessarily wrong, but do we want to be bidding a no trump when we just as easily could just pass this hand and show our minimum values? Remember, this is a spot where we don't necessarily have to be bidding, right? You want to kind of save the times where you're bidding here to the times where you have something reasonable to say. Remember, you've already opened the hand. Your partner should expect this exact type of range on your lower end. And you can show this lower end just by kind of passing, right? Letting it go. I would say second choice would obviously be one no trump. You don't want to bid 2 clubs in this case. You're kind of showing more shape than you really have. Okay, so here in this spot, pass I think is your best choice, kind of the most disciplined of all your choices, and one no trump would be second best there. All right, number 3, the second auction over here. Partner opened a diamond. Right-hand opponent bid a spade. Always show your heart suit. So many of you, and I actually put this in the explanation afterwards, so many of you just see this spade suit and bid one no trump, right? You just say, oh, okay, I can stop spades. I have 6 to 10. We're good. Let's go. But you've denied a 4-card heart holding. And if partner has hearts on this hand, you definitely want to be playing in that suit versus no trump. So you double. This double doesn't have to be 10 or more points. It just shows a response up to about the 2 level, right? So this is 8 or more points. And it is at least 4 cards in that heart suit, right? So this is exactly what we're showing on this hand. We're showing a 4-card or longer heart holding and 8 or more points. We're right there, right? So that's what we do. The second one is awesome. So many of you forgot that this is a Q bid. Yeah, Betty, exactly. The 2 spade bid is the way we show a good raise in that diamond suit. All right, we have to be Q bidding the opponent's suit. Those of you that bid 3 diamonds, you were right, kind of in a totally standard way, right? If you wanted to make a limit raise, it's usually the jump raise. Not here. When the opponents have bid a suit, our side has bid a suit as well. We basically have ways to show all sorts of hands that we didn't have before. This is clearly one of the better ways to show it, or definitely the best hand to be showing in these spots, right? A good 10 or more points, and at least an 8-card fit in the suit partner bid. It doesn't have to be 9, it's at least 8. So that's exactly what we do here. Everybody okay? Especially on this last one. Everybody forgets Q bids. Everybody, until we stop forgetting them. But they are always the absolute strongest raise we will have available in competitive auctions, unless we have something conventional on the menu as well. All right. I'm going to hold for about 10 or 15 seconds for any lagging questions, and then I will move on to the next hand here. Very good. All right, let's dance. And here's this for your notes there. All right, make your bid, guys. One no trump pass to you. There are 2 acceptable bids here, depending on the type of agreements you have. One is clearly kind of the most normal bid. But what do you do in this case? One no trump pass to you. Which one, Jenny? This is right, Annette, for sure. Okay, so good things in the chat here, guys. We definitely know we're going to game, but we can't be sure which game we belong in just yet. So we bid Stayman. The only time we ever avoid Stayman is when we're totally flat, right? So if I take a diamond away and I put it in the club suit, now I would just bid 3 no trump, right? That's when we avoid Stayman. Any other time when we have enough values, we bid Stayman. So we start with 2 clubs. Our partner bids 2 spades, and it's back to us. Make your call, guys. The other acceptable possibility is if you played puppet Stayman, you would use that here. That is the preferred version. If you have that agreement, you would use it in this hand as well. This is good stuff, guys. We definitely have game. We also have to understand that we don't have slam, and you can figure this out in an easy way, and practically whenever you're at the table. Just take partner's maximum, which is 17, and add it to all of your values. You don't have enough to bid slam. If they have 17, you're almost there, but you're not close, and that's only if they have their best possible hand, right? So here we bid game. The game we knew we were going to bid before, except the difference between the first problem and this one is we now know where that game is, and we are the only ones that know we have game. So we have to bid it, right? 4 spades is the right bid with that hand. We bid 4 spades and we find ourselves in that game. And now we're going to jump over to the other side of the table. Right? I'm going to make you lead against this contract, right? So the opponents have had this auction. Take a second to get your bearings. I don't want to confuse anybody here. But on this hand, you are defending against this 4 spade contract, and you are the person that has to make the killing lead on this. What do you lead from this hand down here? Right? What lead are we making against this 4 spade contract? Take time if you need it. Right? These are the more difficult decisions for sure. I like this one. This is getting some varied answers for sure. Okay, so let's look at this holding right here. This is usually a holding we don't go out of our way to lead unless we have something else in our hand. And what I mean by this is we don't really lead small doubletons against suit contracts unless we have an entry in the trump suit. Okay, and we just so happen to have a small doubleton in hearts and a clear entry in the trump suit with that ace of spades. So these are the times that it's okay to lead a doubleton. We're always leading singletons if we can, right? In these situations, we're going to lead a stiff when we have it just to get our ruff quickly, and it takes 1 round to avoid ourselves of the suit. The problem with small doubletons is that we need 2 rounds to avoid ourselves. So we're going to need that ability to get in with the trump suit so we can complete voiding ourselves the second chance we get. The exceptions to this rule are like when you have ace small, right? That's a very good doubleton to lead, and that's one that you can get rid of both of your cards because you get to win the first trick, right? So totally different animal there. Here, though, it's a small doubleton, but with the ace of spades, we are excellent. Some of you chose a club, and this is a lot of you just playing kind of the rule book, right? You're leading 4th best versus anything. 4th best leads are excellent versus no trump. They're not always that good versus a suit, especially when we're leading away from a king, which we want to try to avoid doing versus any of their contracts unless we have a good read on it being right. But also, who opened 1 no trump on this hand, guys? Right? 1 no trump was opened by this player to our right. So we want to try to be passive, at least if we're thinking about leading away from honors. But here we get the best of all worlds. We get to actually make a really aggressive lead with our doubleton. And then we'll see what happens next. All right, everybody okay with that one? I think about half of you had the 9 of hearts, and then others, honestly, it ranged from every suit, basically. Diamonds, clubs. If another passive, but really passive choice would be diamonds, not necessarily great. Always lead the 9 of hearts. Yes, good question, Joni. We're going to lead high-low, right? And that's how we're going to show the holding that we have, right? We're going to lead the 9, follow it with the 3, and hopefully partner can pick that off for us. So let's take a peek at this hand. And let me now ask you, with this 9 being led over here versus this contract, I've shown you all 4 hands. I want you to tell me if this contract is going to be making or going down. All right, so take a look. You can see all the hands. So you can go about this in a number of ways. And I'll give you kind of hints on how to look at this afterwards. But take a look at the entire hand and let me know if this is going to make 4 spades for north-south or if north-south is going to go down in this contract. And this one, you can definitely take some time at. You will have to take a look at this entire hand. The good thing is it's a 50-50 choice. I love Betty's answer. She's trying to get, she says maybe. I make you have to making her down. That's it. There is no maybe. There's only making her down. I definitely would play bridge with you though, Betty, for sure. I like your style. I can tell you that there's definitely, well, I don't want to tell you anything. Keep taking a look. Even if you've answered, this is a very cool exercise, and it'll be something that you can really spend a lot of time doing after you play bridge. The hand record is a gold mine of just information and practice. Good, and let me dial it in. Assume that perfect defense will be played. And on that note, I will reveal one thing. North-South should go down on this end. But let's see maybe a pathway towards that. I know not everyone can see it at this point. In fact, very few of you could probably see it at this point because it's kind of a weird play. But let's think of the logic behind it. Now I want you to focus on the East player's hand. Okay, and only East at this point. I've taken the other two hands away. So here we have the dummy right here. There is East, the hand I want you to look at. And I'm going to show you the lead that your partner made, the 9 of hearts. All right, so your partner over here led the 9 of hearts. What should we expect that to be when we see the dummy and then we look at our own hand and we see the value of the 9 of hearts? What kind of a lead does that look like? All right. Could it be a singleton? That's another very good question. I forgot to put that in there. Is the 9 of hearts, could it be a singleton heart? Why, Nancy? Good. And what didn't they? Well done, Nancy. I love it. Okay. This is a bit of counting, and we're going to do a little more of this, but let me take you through the logic of the situation. The auction started with South opening 1 no trump, North bid Stayman, and South bid 2 spades. 2 spades, folks, denies 4 hearts. When we go past the heart suit in response to Stayman, we do not have 4 hearts. So South has to have at least 2, but at most 3 cards in the heart suit. So here we know that that 9 of hearts cannot be a singleton because there are not 4 cards in the heart suit here. So we should know, to be honest, based on the value of that card, that partner is leading a doubleton. Right? So let's go a little further. Oh, we don't want to go that much further. Get out of there. Okay. They play the jack from dummy. Make your play as East. Make your play as East and recognize what you know. You know that 9 of hearts cannot be a singleton. It is absolutely a doubleton, basically, unless your partner is legitimately out to lunch like I was this morning. What is the right play when it goes 9 of hearts, jack from dummy? And then it's okay to take your time. And I want you to, when you're still thinking about this, which is good, I want you to play more than just this trick. When you're playing and when you're defending, sometimes you have to think about what's going to happen next. So what I try to do is I'll make the play in my head. What if I play the ace? What will happen next? And then what will happen when partner wins another trick? And then we can go back to what would we do when we play low. That's it, Nancy. Exactly. Okay. I'm going to give you guys about 5 or 10 more seconds before I start talking about what we know here. Laurel, that is the exact correct answer. Very nice. You want to make it obvious. So here's the real issue. And I want you to think about this. When our partner is leading this doubleton, right? We know this is just 2 cards in that heart suit. We have to recognize that if we play the ace of hearts now, which we could definitely do, and then we lead a low heart, we're going to avoid our partner of hearts. It's going to be awesome. They're going to be totally void of hearts. So now when I cross these cards out of my hand, right, we don't have the ace of hearts anymore because we just played it. And then we don't have the 2 of hearts anymore. Well, how does partner get to our hand to get their ruff? Now that we successfully void them of their hearts, they don't have the king to win. And to be honest, they've led their 2 hearts, the 9 and then whatever's lower than it. How do they get to our hand to get their ruff? Yeah, that's what we have to recognize. This one trick earlier at this point. If we play the ace of hearts, we're taking the only entry from our hand away from our partner to get their ruff. Okay. Very interesting hand. And also remember, we saw all 4 of these hands to begin with. You can see, even when you can see all 52 cards, this is not that simple, right? So to actually be sitting at the table and getting it right is a very tough stretch. But just think logically from East's position. The information is out there. Partner has 2 hearts exactly. How are we going to get this ruff? Well, we're going to get it only if I duck first. And here's trick 1, guys. Trick 1 is the 9 of hearts being led. Jack, we're going to play the 10. We're going to do that for a really important reason. We want to tell partner that we like that heart suit, right? They led something we like. We just aren't willing to part with our winner just yet for a really good reason. And now when this gets played, the next trick will be, hey, let's draw some trump. So declare will lead a spade. Partner is going to jump up with that ace. And now watch what gets to happen. Trick 3, West gets to lead their last heart. And here's our entry, guys. The entry we saved at trick 1. We get to win our ace of hearts as the East player. And then at trick 4, whoops, we do not want to do that again. There we go, guys. All right. I cannot get away from misclicking all day, basically. All right, so here we are back over on the correct slide. At this moment, when our partner leads their heart, it's going to go king, and there is our ruff. Right? And this was all because our partner was cognizant enough of what was going on to preserve the entry in their own hand. Talk to me, guys. Is that too much? Do you want me to go through it again? We can go through trick. And in fact, why don't I dial it back to at least trick 1 so we can see the start of the hand. Right, everybody okay here? And the 9 of hearts is a very descriptive lead. And let's actually, if we can, let's go back to the auction. All right. So first things first, when we see this bid over here, the one huge piece of information is that partner doesn't have 4 hearts, or sorry, that player doesn't have 4 hearts. When they bypass the heart suit, they can't have 4. We know when they open 1 no trump, though, they have to have at least 2. So the range of their hearts is 2 or 3 hearts, basically, for this particular hand. So that becomes super relevant once we get to the hand and we see that the West player leads the 9 of hearts, right? From East's perspective, they have 5 hearts in their own hand, right? There are 3 in dummy, that's 8. And we know South has a maximum of 3, right? Or they could have 2, okay? The 9 is very revealing because it's a high card, right? And it looks like the start of a doubleton. So here, if we just count 5 in our own hand, 3 in dummy, that's 8. If we give partner the 2 we expect, South has 3 exactly. But the huge part of this is if partner has exactly 2 hearts, and we should recognize that they do, how do we make sure partner can get that ruff? Well, we have to do 2 things. We have to be able to void them of hearts. So we have to play hearts twice. But we also have to have a way to end in our hand so that we can lead another heart and partner gets the ruff. Well, look at the entries. How many entries do we have in East? Well, we have 0 in spades, we have 0 in diamonds, and we have 0 in clubs. That's no good for us, guys. And let me take this one step further. When partner leads a doubleton, when we talked about this hand initially, we don't really lead small doubletons without what? And what are we going to have in our hand if we choose to lead a small doubleton versus a suit contract? We're going to have an entry in the trump suit, right? So East can say, well, if my partner is playing by the rules here and they're not leading a small doubleton without a trump entry, they're going to get in with a trump card. And I want to have my entry still here, right? So on this 9, the East player has a tough play. This is a play that, to be honest, very few people will get right in a live situation, right? But if we're thinking about what's going on, the information is there to get this one right. And here, that's exactly what we want to do, right? We just play that 10 of hearts, and there goes trick 1. As they draw trump at trick 2, partner wins their ace with their entry. And on the next trick, they void themselves of hearts to our ace while we're winning it. And then we give them a heart ruff. Done, done, done. All right, guys. We're going to jump to another one. I know that was a lot. Take a deep breath. Don't worry. We have easier problems coming up. This was a really good one. So Eddie, this is a very good question. What we were saying is when we're choosing or when we would be thinking about leading a small doubleton, like 2 small cards, the 9 and the 3 were what West was looking at. We're not going to go out of our way to do that. In fact, we're usually not going to do that without a trump entry, meaning a card that we are likely to take a trick with in the trump suit before declarer draws all of our trump. Right? If we're not going to get a ruff, it doesn't matter if we lead our shortness, right? Here, we have to really have an idea that we're going to be able to avoid ourselves of the 2 card holding we have that doesn't have any tricks in it. Good. Okay. Next case. Okay, guys, this is a counting problem. So all I'm giving you is 1 suit. The only suit that's relevant in this situation is spades. Right? You are declaring 3-no trump from the south, and your left-hand opponent leads the 7 of spades. Count the spades in the East player's hand, the right-hand opponent's hand. Is it A4, B2, or is it C? We can't possibly know yet. Make your choice. How many spades are in the East player's hand when West leads the 7 of spades versus 3-no trump? Is it 4-2, or we just can't know? Yes, it's right. It's right, Kelly. You don't need the rule to figure it out, though. Okay, so how do we do this? First things first, we have to determine what the heck that lead is. And if we look at this hand, we know that the 7 is the lowest card that we don't have in our hand, right? We can see all of the cards that are below the 7, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6. So this tells us one thing for sure. This is a 4th best lead because it's the lowest card they could have possibly led. So if this is a 4th best lead, how many does West have exactly in this spade suit? If that 7 is a 4th best lead, how many does West have? West, this player here, the leader. They have 4, right? They led 4th best, and there are no cards below that 7. Whenever this happens, guys, the most obvious one is when the opponent leads the 2. When the opponent leads the 2, we know they have exactly 4. This is exactly the same because we can see every card below it. Okay, so now we are absolutely sure West has 4, and now it's just adding to 13. Dummy has 4, that's 8. We have 3, that is 11, which means East started with exactly 2 spades. East has exactly 2. We know that from the jump. We know everything about that spade suit immediately. And this is just any time we see the lowest card being the 4th best lead. You could use the rule of 11 on this one as well, guys. The rule of 11 would definitely work. The rule of 11 would definitely work on this one, right? Just because in this spot, when we make a 4th best lead, we know there are exactly 4 cards higher than the 7 in the other 2 hands. Sorry, the other 3 hands. So here we would in fact know that not only does East have 2 cards in the spade suit, we know they're both higher than the 7. which doesn't necessarily mean they're all amazing, but they're definitely cards that are higher than that 7. Everybody okay with the counting on this one? Very relatively simple as long as we know what's going on, guys. And then it's just simple addition. When we solve it, we solve it. All right. Now let's start bidding some more hands here. This is your hand, guys, for the first set of auctions. Take a moment, get familiar with it. And my question is, number 1, what are you doing with it? Make your bid. You are the dealer, and it is your choice. That's right, Betty. Confidence. I like it. Kelly also. I like the philosophy, like even if I'm going to make a terrible bid, I'm going to do it with confidence just so it looks like I know what I'm doing. It's right. Annette, make your choice. The bridge, unfortunately, does not allow you to put 2 cards down and say, hey, I'll do one of these. Yeah. I like it. I like trying to get it over on it, but which one's better? This is 16 high cards, right? 16. Okay, number 2. So what we're dealing with on this one, guys, if you're new to this particular slide, number 2, same hand, different auction, right? So on number 2, we're holding this exact same hand over here, except this time our partner opened 1 spade in front of us and it went past us. All right. So now on number 2, 1 spade was opened and it's our choice. 1 spade by partner, 1 spade. All right, next one. This time, our right-hand opponent opened 2 hearts. All right, so on number 3, right-hand opponent is opening 2 hearts. Make your bid. 2 hearts on your right. And once again, you can make your bids for 1, 2, and 3 anytime. But what are you doing on number 3 at this point? 2 hearts on your right, your choice. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you guys about 10 or 15 more seconds, and then we're going to start with number 1. So number 1 is just a test of your understanding of what we're doing these days, right? The absolute correct answer for number 1 is 1 no trump. We do not open 1 spade when we have a balanced 16 count, right? We have 16 high card points. We're 5, 3, 2, 3. We open 1 no trump. The only times we don't do this is if I add a point to this hand, or let's say I add a jack to the club suit. Now I have 17. Now I'm kind of too good, but I still want to treat it as a balanced hand. So I'll still go about things in a normal way. But here, when I get to open 1 no trump, even when I have a 5 card suit, even when it's a major, it is the absolute best way to show our hand. And let me just draw out an auction real quick for those of you that opened a spade. And there were still a few of you, which is understandable. When it goes 1 spade by you, what happens, and let me clean this up a little bit. What happens when you open 1 spade and partner bids 1 no trump? What do you respond with this hand, right? What's next? It's even worse when you open a heart and partner bids a spade, right? With the same thing. Right? Everything you do is kind of wrong because you didn't open a no trump, right? So in these spots, it's so important to open a no trump because your rebid problems become really impossible when auctions like that appear in front of you, right? So always 1 no trump with number 1. Number 2 was Jacoby 2 no trump, guys. Most of you were right on it. This is our forcing major suit raise. So we play 2/1 game forcing, and that is awesome. And that we will sometimes be game forcing with 2/1 with a 3 card fit for sure. We are never game forcing with 2/1 when we have a 4 card major suit fit. We always use Jacoby 2 no trump, which is now our game forcing major suit raise, right? 4 card support or longer, at least 13 or more total points, game forcing, right? And it's beautiful because it does both of the best things for us. It game forces and it establishes our fit with the same call. Awesome. All right. 2 hearts on our right on number 3. This is an interesting one. You could have gone in 2 ways here. There was a better way to go, but the best way with number 3 is once again to show your no trump range. 2 no trump, a good 15 to 18, stopper in the opponent's suit, balanced distribution. That's what we could do here. The other choice is two spades, which technically is still in the mix, right? That's going to show probably an opening hand up to about 17, right? So it isn't as, I'll give you this. It's not as bad to bid two spades here as it would be to bid one spade on number one. All right. So two spades is way better here because at least you get to start with that nice opening hand range over two hearts, but still, you get to dial in 15 to 17, 15 to 18 by bidding no trump. That is exactly what we do. Nancy asked the question I was waiting for. When we see a preempt in front of us at the two level, two no trump is no longer the unusual no trump. We need it to be natural because the opponents have preempted us, right? We need to have those bids back that we use for different things, right? The unusual two no trump happens when we are the overcaller and we're jumping almost always, right? So one heart, two no trump would be the unusual two no trump. Two hearts, two no trump is natural. We need it to be so we can make these bids because guess what? Who rates to have the best hands when the opponents preempt? Them or us? Just think of it in general, like just the logical terms of the bridge world, right? We rate to have the values, right? So we need those bids that are going to show the values. We don't need preemptive bids. And that's another good reminder. When they preempt, we don't preempt. All right. We need to kind of be direct with our bids and show our values so we can at least recoup some of the room they chewed up on us. Everybody good? These are a great starting hands, right, to look at on this auction, on these auctions for sure. Oh, Ginny asked a good question. Number two earlier, the question is, could we just bid for no trump? And technically, yes. And I'll tell you this. In these auctions, when our partners opened a suit, okay? When our partners opened a suit or when they rebid a suit like a spade and then they rebid two spades, the jump to 4-0 trump should definitely be key card. However, we're almost never doing that. And to be honest, over a major suit opening, we're never doing it because we play Jacoby 2-0 trump, right? So when we play Jacoby 2-0 trump, we're super happy to get in there and show our hand, make it a game forcing bid. And then we get that response structure. We get more information before we make a decision as to how high to go afterwards. Always best to get your information out there unless you have some sort of ridiculous hand. Another quick thing, could we have doubled with number three? No, we have five spades, okay? And our hand is in a range that we get to show our range in a better way by betting 2-0 trump. But if you're going to do anything but 2-0 trump, you always just overcall your 5-card major, right? And your range is up to about 17. Very good questions. All right, next case. Here's your next hand, 13 count. Let me get my head out of the way of the club suit there. I'll take a step back. And here comes your first auction, guys. One diamond pass to you. Make your call. One diamond pass to you. And at the end of the notes this week, I put a visual aid from one of the classes we did, the Overcall class that some of you might not have attended. Just wanted you guys to have that at the end of the notes. And also there's at least a dozen questions at the end, at least one or two of these slides that'll be left over. So more homework for you guys. But now it's one diamond to you. What are we doing? Remember, you are the responder on this auction. Number 4. That would be the agreement. Okay, yep. See some good stuff in the chat there. I'm liking it. Keep them coming. And we'll see number 5 in a second. All right, here we go, guys. Now, partner opened a spade. Make your bid. Excuse me, opponent opened a spade. Thank you, Nancy. I'm losing my mind. I figured out what happened to me today. The allergies for me down here in Florida are pretty bad. So I took a couple Benadryl this morning and I have been hungover basically ever since. It is not the smartest feeling of my life today. So yeah, one spade by your opponent to you. It's actually a much easier problem if your partner opens a spade, but not this time. One spade by opponent. 1-0 trump as an overcall would be 15 to 18 balanced, always and forever. Weird one. It's 1 point higher on the upper end, but it's the same hand. All right, let's see number 6. This time, left-hand opponent opened 1 diamond. Our partner overcalled 1 spade. And our right-hand opponent doubled. Make your bid. 1 diamond on our left, 1 spade by partner, double, back to us. And I believe that's Linda with the first correct answer, and Laurel is in there with the second one. And once again, guys, take a look at if you're waiting at the end, check your work. Good catch, Betty. Nice. So many of you actually put an answer in and then come back in with the right one afterwards. So don't be afraid. If you've rushed to bid, you can certainly reevaluate. You're right, Nancy. That's exactly right. Annette, very nice. There it is. I know what my first August class is going to be scheduled for sure. Okay, so number 1 is a cool one. This is the one everyone forgets about. So the ones that I saw in the chat most frequently for this one were 2 diamonds, which is the inverted minor suit raise. Pretty standard that this kind of shows a good 10 or more points and at least 4 cards in the diamond suit. So honestly, not wrong. You have what you would be showing. The other thing I saw, which was another really decent idea, is 2 clubs, right? 2 clubs would, in fact, be 2/1 game forcing. And this is the only time that a minor suit will be opened where we're able to game force, right? So 1 diamond by partner, 2 clubs would be game forcing and natural, usually 4 or more, right? So both of those technically are correct, but not the correct bid on this particular hand. The correct bid on this hand is a very straightforward and low information revealing bid of 3 no trump. Right? 3 no trump shows 13 to 15 balanced, no 4-card major, and it just kind of sets the contract, right? Unless partner has some sort of huge hand, and they will know we have 13 to 15 in that moment. All right, so here we show it in 1 bid. We don't release any information to our opponents, which is going to make it a major suit lead likely, but that's not necessarily terrible for our hand. But remember, if we start with 2 clubs and then partner and I start to exchange a bunch of information and then hit 3 no trump, which is a better scenario for us as far as getting a favorable lead? Is it the long, super informational exchange auction, or is it the quick arrival to game without really saying much of anything? Right? Clearly the second option, right? The short direct auction where they're guessing as to what to do. They may guess right, but at least we've made it slightly more difficult for them to do that. Okay. The second one with this hand, when they open a spade to our right, we don't have a bid. We're out. We do not make a call because we don't have anything to actually describe our hand. We certainly can't double, right? That would actually show a hand that is kind of the reverse of this, and we would like to have 4 of the other major as well, right? So here we have too many spades, not enough hearts to be able to do this. We don't have a bit of a suit at all, and we're not strong enough for 1 no trump. So many people still with this seat are rushing to bid when it is rarely going to be right? Have a reason to bid. The weirdest part and the hardest thing to come to grips with is that if they passed, you would open this hand, absolutely, but they stole it. They stole your ability to do that. So when they bid a spade, it is not that important to get into this auction right away. Maybe you get in later, but you don't need to get in now. And that's why partner's there for you as well. They'll balance, they'll do the right thing when it's right to be bidding, because they know a lot of hands like this are going to have to be passed in that direct overcall chair. I will take questions on that, by the way, and get them ready and in the chat, but let's talk about 6 before we get to that. 1 diamond on our left, 1 spade by partner, double. This is your second opportunity of the day to make a good Q-bid raise of partner's suit. 2 diamonds, the suit that the opponents have bid, is our 10 or more points and our fit with partner's suit, right? So this is the only good raise we have. Redouble is not the support redouble. That is kind of nothing here. Redouble would just be some sort of good hand without a fit. Right, so the Q bid is our fit, and that's exactly what we want to do. We might have a game on this hand for all we know. The only way we get to show a good hand is by bidding the opponent's suit. 2 diamonds. I have a good 10 or more points, partner. I have a fit for spades. Again, the only bid that we can raise with 2 spades, 6 to 9-ish, 6 to a bad 10, 3 card support. 3 spades, preemptive, less than 10, like 4 to 7 points usually, and a 4 card fit. Right, so this time we don't have any of those things. We have a good hand. We have a fit. Q bid is the way to go. Talk to me, folks. Talk to me about these 3 hands. These are really good ones. And I saw a lot of different answers for 5 and 6 for sure. Right? Tougher hands, clearly. But recognize the position we're in each of these for sure. Everybody okay? I'll give it about 10 or 15 seconds before we go to the next one. Any questions you guys have? Fire them in there. Big things are number 5, definitely passing. No reason to get into this auction. And number 6, Q bid. The only strong raise in a competitive auction where they bid a suit and we bid a suit. That's that Q bid. All right, next case, guys. This is your hand. Your worst hand of the day, I promise. You have a 3 count. Your partner hasn't done anything yet, but this is your terrible hand to look at. Yeah, well, no. When we go back here, guys, this hand, a redouble on this auction would show a good hand, but it would deny spades. It would deny spades for sure. It would just say, hey, partner, I have some good cards, but I don't really know what to do. The only bids that show fits are raises, right? And the best raise is the Q bid raise. Good, thanks. All right, this time, terrible hand, but just because you have a terrible hand doesn't mean this auction is over. It certainly doesn't mean you might you won't bid. Right. So first things first, this auction number 7, 1 diamond by your left-hand opponent, 1 heart by your partner this time, double on your right. 1 diamond, 1 heart, double. Make your bid. And now I can get back to my normal seat and not blocking that club suit there. All right, so 1 diamond, 1 heart by partner, double your bid. Jenny Gold and Jenny Knight. The 2 Jennies are on it for sure. Nancy as well. So I don't want to give it away, but I will tell you that when we have a Q bid available, which we do here, we gain a really effective bid for our side. Ooh, Betty, good. Yeah, no, and this is not good enough for the other thing you're suggesting. This is awesome. Kelly as well. All right, so when we have a Q bid available, we gain a really nice tactical bid that we can use in these situations. What is it? Make it. And while we're thinking about 7 still, maybe we'll try 8. This time, our partner preempted with 2 hearts and right-hand opponent doubled. Make your bid. Betty, almost not. You don't use that one. You use our suit for this one. So not a Q bid anymore. All right, so now number 8, same terrible hand, different auction. Partner opened 2 hearts and it went double on our right. Yeah, exactly, Betty. Good catch. That would be that variety there. All right, cool. It's well, when we have the Q bid available, the jump raise is no longer normal. All right, so we're still on number 8 for now. 2 hearts, double to you. And we will see number 9. This time, partners come into the hand in a big way. They started with 2 clubs. You bid 2 diamonds, and partner now bid 2 hearts. Make your call on this hand. That's right, Vicky. Why though? I think Vicky and Nancy are the only ones that have gotten this Ginny Gold in there. The Wednesday morning crew with the correct answer as well. Ooh, Eddie, I like what you're thinking, but think of the likelihood of that on this auction, right? Think of the likelihood of that actually happening. What was double? Yeah, but while you're doing that, they might find their fit and get a lot more information, right? Think of how to be a tougher opponent for sure. Yeah, this is a tough group. Absolutely, it's tougher because these hands are usually the hands we stop paying attention as soon as we open them up with. But the auction makes them interesting. And the reason is we have really good hands for the auctions we find ourselves in this crew of hands 7, 8, and 9. So first thing is first, guys. Number 7. What do we do with this hand? Well, we preempt, right? When we have a cubit available, the opponent opened a diamond, which means to show a good raise, we could bid 2 diamonds, right? So when that is available, what does this bid mean? What's 3 hearts on that auction now? It used to be 1 heart, 3 hearts is a limit raise. But we just said that because of the competitive auction, we can cubid now with those hands. So what's 3 hearts? Well, it's not only the correct bid on number 7, it's our preemptive raise, which is exactly what we want to show here. It's around 4 to 7 total points. It guarantees a 9 card fit. That's the real key. When we're preempting, we're kind of using the law of total tricks as a guide, which says we can preempt to the level that's equal to the number of tricks we have, which is on this, trumps we have, which in this case is 9 hearts. So we can compete to the 9 trick level, which is the 3 level, right? So we do it immediately. Why do we do it immediately? Why is it so important we bid 3 hearts right away? What's the whole point behind bids like this? Yeah. And is that Linda Morris? Yeah, to mess up the opponents. Absolutely, right? We want to preempt them. When we have this type of hand, we know it's their contract unless our partner has like a maximum, and then it's kind of a split decky type hand. But here, we make an easy bid. The easy bid for us on this hand is 3 hearts. They're the ones that have the tough path ahead of them because of the way we bid our hands. So we don't wait. We raise very quickly and effectively to 3 hearts. With that being said, now if anyone wants to take another swing at number 8, we're dealing with the same concept here. In fact, it's even more of a juicy situation. And the reason it's more juicy is we now not only know it's their hand, they're going to have a game. They might even have a slam. Our partner preempted and we have a 3 count. So the correct bid on number 8 is 4 hearts. Same reason, law of total tricks, 10 total tricks together, trumps together. So that 10 trick level is there. And we bid it very quickly because we absolutely want the opponents to have a very tough choice with their next bid, which is going to be at the game level. And we know that our partner has less than 10 and we have a 3 count. Oh my goodness. The opponents have massive values. It sounds like our partner preempted our right-hand opponent and they were starting or preparing to open something like 2 clubs or something. That's what's happening here. So the faster we can get in there, the harder we make their job. The last one, though, is totally different. These first 2 bids, we're making preemptive bids. We really know that it's the opponent's deal, and we are trying to get in their way as effectively as we can. This last one, it's our hand, and partner has shown an exceptionally strong hand with a natural heart suit. So what type of hand do we have now? Do we have a total minimum or do we have extra values in this auction? It's very important when we're bidding to recognize who we are, right? And what is the value of our hand based on what we've shown and or what partner has shown. Yeah, this is a very good hand. A minimum game force would be 3 total, right? Partner has at least 22. We have 3. That's a minimum. And that's when we would bid game very quickly. That's a 4 heart bid. So how do we show a fit and extra values in situations like this, guys? Yeah, this was the time where we slow down, right? This is a 3 heart bid, right? Hey, partner, I confirm we have a fit. I know we're going to game. I am going very slow, right? Partner has at least 22 points, at least 22, right? They opened 2 clubs. And by the way, unless we're bidding the new minor suit, we're making any bid we make that's not 3 clubs is just game forcing. All right, so 3 hearts is that nice. Okay, partner. And here, I'm not saying we're going to make a slam, right? This hand honestly isn't beyond the realm of possibility considering how good our shape is. But let's be clear. We're not saying we're going to make a slam, but what we are saying is, hey, partner, I don't have a total minimum. If I did, I would bid 4 hearts, right? So here, when I bid 3 hearts, I'm giving partner room to discuss anything they want to discuss, and I will happily cooperate with them if need be. Okay. Yeah, no worries, buddy. I'm in it today. It's okay. That 2 club bid is the big one here when we know they have that huge of a hand. All right. As long as we're okay with this one, guys, and if we're not, throw those questions in, and you can target a specific number hand. But here, let's jump to number 10. New situation. This time we have kind of a solid 11 count. Let's bid our hands when partner opens 1 spade and right hand opponent doubles. 1 spade by partner, right hand opponent doubles. What do we do with this one? And guys, we have about 20 minutes left, so push your brain to the brink. A few questions left, plenty more in the notes afterwards for you to bust your brain with later. Push through, create these pathways. 1 spade, double to you. Joni's in there with the right one. Which one, Vicky? Okay, very nice. Betty, this is an interesting question. It's not specifically like that, but it's similar in nature. I will give you that information without giving you the answer. Nancy's right there. Okay, here comes another. This time, left-hand opponent opened 2 diamonds preemptively. Our partner bid 2 spades, and it went pass to us. Right, so number 2, 2 diamonds on our left, preemptive, 2 spades by partner, pass, and now it's our choice. Ginny, there is, but it's not on this one. It would be when you have 4 card support. I like that you remember that, though. That's cool. Yeah, exactly. There is something there for that. All right, this one though, number 11, 2 diamonds on our left, preemptive, 2 spades by partner, pass. What do we bid? Laurel. Yes. I will maybe give you a brief hint. This has been relevant most of the day. This bit. What is it? Yeah, you do, Betty. Nice. Ginny K. Very good. Both Ginnies are vibing today. You're on the right track, both of you. All right, here comes number 12, guys. 2 diamonds by partner this time, preemptively, pass to you. 2 diamonds by partner, pass to you. You would love to double your partner. The rules of bridge do not allow it, unfortunately. So unfortunately, we have at least a few of us trying to double our partner every time we have a session, which is awesome because that means your partner is aggressive and you're trying to tamp them down a little bit. But unfortunately, they won't let us score plus points in those spots. All right, so let's start with number 10. I'm so happy we have this one because this doesn't come up that often. That's why a lot of you struggled with this one. Because what the heck are we doing differently when it goes 1 spade double? The key thing to understand is everything changes in this spot, including our raised structures, right? We have too good of a hand for 2 spades. That's like 6 to 10-ish. 3 spades would be preemptive in nature. All right, we would be jumping in a competitive way. The opponents have made a takeout double, so it's the same idea, right? The jump is still preemptive. Redouble is where we start, guys. Now, this one is not conventional. It's not something that we have to agree to play. It is standard, right? This is a standard normal bid that shows 10 or more points. That's all it shows, too. It tends to deny 4 card support because there is a convention that Ginny actually talked about called Jordan that might be helpful to show 4 card support. This time, though, we only have 3 card support, so we have to start with a redouble first to show our values. That's all we're showing first. We're showing 10 or more points. I'm going to shelve these redouble questions because we're going to see a slide later that's going to ask the questions you're asking, right? So I want to ask them first is what I'm saying. So let me shelve those for a second, but just understand that the 2 club bid, which was very common and honestly would make sense if, let's say, they had made a suit overcall and we had this available, right? But here, after the double, the 2 club bid shows clubs, but it shows 6 to 9. And that is because if we're planning on bidding at the 2 level, we have to have these weak hands available because 2 opening bids have just been shown in front of us, right? So here, these natural 2 level bids become weak. And that is because redouble is that strong bid, 10 or more points. And let me just give you one other piece of just logic that'll help you going forward. When it goes opening bid, takeout double, showing an opening hand, how often are we going to have 10 or more points? How often? I mean, how often do you see this type of hand? You can tell just if you play a reasonable amount of bridge. You're not seeing this often at all, just based on the math, right? Opening bid. When am I having 10? Not too often, but when I have it, I have one way to show it, and that is the redouble. That's the only strong bid. It's why we don't do it that often, because it doesn't come up that often. Any other bid is now weak. 2 clubs, 6 to 9 clubs. 2 diamonds, 6 to 9 diamonds. Simple raise, 6 to 9 in a fit. Right? And when I say 9, I mean I edge up to those bad 10s that can't redouble, right? But anytime we have a good 10 or more, we redouble. And that's the way we go. Number 11 is another Q bid. 2 diamonds on our left, partner bids 2 spades. How do we show a good raise of partner's suit? We Q bid the opponent's suit, guys. That is our raise of partner's suit with a good 10 or more points. It looks weird because it's at a higher level, but it's the same concept. We're showing a good raise rather than a bad one. Those of you that bid 3 spades, I'll tell you this. If you were going to bid spades, the correct choice was 4, because at least you're more likely to have game. 3 spades would just be like 6 to 9. But to be honest, neither of those bids would show a good hand because the Q bid's the only one that actually shows this good hand. The last one on this slide, number 12, that's a pass, guys. Your partner preempted. You have 11 points. You don't have game. Neither do the opponents, it sounds like. You'll probably play 2 diamonds. And if not, you have pretty decent defense for anything they choose to play. Some of you raised to 3 diamonds. I like your style, trying to kind of get in there and further the preempt, but I want you to rely on the law of total tricks almost always in these spots, okay? So if you're planning on raising, just ask yourself, how many total trumps do we have together? On this hand, when partner opens only 2, we have 8 together, right? So we can compete to the 2 level, we're already there. And so here we just do not bid. And we just let it go, right? And most of the time, to be honest, when you're holding around an opening hand, and especially if one opponent has already passed, pretty frequently it's just going to float out when we have around the same number of points between all 4 hands, right? So playing 2 diamonds, not the worst. All right, let's take a look at another one. All right, make your call on this one, guys. I made the first few bids. Your partner opened a spade. You bid 2 clubs. Partner bid 2 diamonds. Make your bid. Ginny, I promise if you are patient, you will get an answer to that question for sure. It happens to be one of the last slides we're going to look at today. And the question is, does redouble show support or deny support? And we will get an answer to that. Okay. So this one, guys, it is not 4th suit forcing. And this is a fun one here because a lot of people think that, okay, we've bid all 4 suits. Now 2 hearts would just be 4th suit forcing. No, we already game forced when we bid 2 clubs, right? That is a game forcing bid. We don't need 4th suit forcing. We also know that partner doesn't have 4 hearts, because what would they have bid if in fact they did have 5 spades, they've shown 4 diamonds. If they also had 4 hearts, what do you think they would have bid first after a spade 2 clubs? Where are they supposed to bid first? Yeah, they're supposed to show their major. So in this hand, we don't need to show hearts. We have everything we need to play no trump. But we're in a game force. So once again, we find ourselves with some extra values as well. So we do not necessarily need to be jumping to that 3 no trump contract. We just bid 2 no trump. And now partner bids 3 clubs and it's back to us. Make your bid, guys. Good. Now is the time we bid 3 no trump. Right now, we've kind of covered all areas. Some of you might have looked at this and said, hey, we still have some extra stuff. And to be honest, I think this came from a game that we played. I think Gavin and I played this in a tournament. But this is just a hand where we're not necessarily going to know at this level whether we belong any higher. Partner hasn't technically limited their hand to any great degree. However, here, we're just going to take our best path at a plus score and bid 3 no trump. Now, here is the north and south hands. I'm going to make your lead. They're going to lead the 6 of hearts. This time, we're just going to count winners. All right, so I want you guys to just count the winners that you can see right now. And remember one quick thing. We can only count winners that will take tricks right now, meaning we can take these tricks right now without any work from our side to take anything extra. So how many winners are we looking at right now in this hand, guys? It's 7. Right. We have 1, 2 hearts. 2 diamonds is 4. The ace of spades is 5. And then 2 clubs for 7 total tricks. So that's step 1 in any no trump contract we're ever playing, guys. We are going to understand the number of winners we're starting with. Step 2 is what suit or suits for that matter are going to provide the most extra tricks from this moment of 7. And answer that question, guys. What suit will provide the most extra tricks? Good, right? So there's our strategy, guys. Every time for no trump. How many winners? Where are my extras coming from? This is not the easiest hand, not the hardest hand either, but it varies, right? And when in no trump contracts, especially when we don't have any 5-card suits, it can be very difficult to know which suit to play first and what's best. But when we have a clear source of tricks and we understand now why we open 1 no trump with 5-card suits, because it's tricks, easier to play. In these spots, we are counting our winners and we're attacking that suit that's going to provide us with the most extra. And Nancy, you're right. There's another possibility of extra diamond tricks as well. But sometimes the way tricks go will dictate what we do next. So here, the 6 of hearts gets played and we play the king from dummy. 2 of hearts gets followed and we'll play low from our hand. Okay, so now we're in the dummy. And now the question is, what do we do next? And sorry, I didn't wipe away that king of hearts just yet, but the heart trick has been played. And now I'm going to tell you that we're going to play the jack of diamonds and we're actually going to do something weird and take a finesse, but it's going to win. So the first trick, we won the king of hearts and dummy. That's gone. And let me see, there we go. Now I can clear off all the tricks that have been played so far. So it went heart to the king and dummy, and then the jack of diamonds held. How many winners do we have now? Might seem like an easy question, but the process is the most important. And if you have forgotten, recognize that we've taken 2 tricks already. What's our total winner count right now? Yeah, we've taken 2 tricks already, and we have 6 left. We might have more because for all we know, if the diamonds are breaking evenly, maybe that diamond is a winner over there as well. The problem is we can't know for sure, so we can't count it as a winner, right? So at this point, and it should make sense, we've only created 1 trick, jack of diamonds, right? That's the only trick we created that we didn't already count. So 1 extra, 8. Now I'm going to show you another trick. We play a club. Left-hand opponent plays the 9. We play the jack from dummy, and right-hand opponent plays the 7. How many winners do we have now? Good. Okay. And before we answer this question, most of you have the correct answer there as to how many total winners we have now with all of our tricks taken. I'm going to cash the king of clubs now, and it's going to go low club, 3. How many winners do we have now? Let me see if I can sweep that off. Unfortunately, I can't. And so this was the trick. We cashed the king of clubs. And let me tell you what we have in the bank. We have taken 2 club tricks now. We took a heart trick and we took a diamond trick. So we actually have 4 in the bank. How many total winners will we take? We've had 4 in the bank. What's our total winner count? Thanks, Betty. So count the total winners. This is the best part of our process, always revisiting our winner count so we know where to go next. All right, so we've taken 4 tricks so far. We actually have 3 club tricks. In fact, I think I can get us to the next slide. We can see all the hands. Yeah. So from this point, we will have 3 club tricks. We will also have 1 spade. We still have the 2 diamonds to take and the ace of hearts. So we have 4 already. We have 3 extra clubs. The reason we knew that, guys, is if you were counting clubs, we know at this point that there's only 1 club left. We had 8 to start with. The queen of clubs is the only thing left. So now those little 2 clubs become winners. So here we actually come up to 11 total tricks. And what we'll do is we will now just start taking all of those tricks. Right? On a hand like this, we're going to take all the clubs. We're going to cash the ace, king of diamonds. We're going to cash the ace of hearts. We're going to leave it to the end and see if we can create another trick. We won't be able to, but the 11 is the number that we would have. And the key things to understand in any no trump contract, they're all exactly the same. Some of them are way more difficult as far as the combination of cards that are available for you, but it's the same concept. How many winners? Where do my extra tricks come from? Get to the business of creating those extra tricks. Good stuff. Let me get to the questions I promised for sure. Here we go. And here's the entire hand, by the way, guys. That was the full deal. Lots of good stuff going on for us here on this hand for sure. And you can see this in the notes afterwards, but here we go, guys. What's it show? What does the bid that is highlighted show? Here we go, guys. I guess you might be able to determine what this bid might be. It is a redouble. 1 spade by north, double by east, redouble by the south player. What does this redouble show? Is it 4 plus hearts and 10 or more points? Is it a 3-card spade fit? Is it 10 plus points, or is it the other suits? Make your choice, guys. A, B, C, or D. Which one is it? And this, I know, will answer Jenny's question. In fact, you answered it yourself. There is no, hey, it could be B and C, and that's because it is absolutely and forever only 10 plus points. That's it, guys. It doesn't show anything else. It does not confirm a spade fit, nor does it deny a spade fit, right? We may, in fact, and we saw a hand like this earlier, we may, in fact, have a 3-card spade fit and like 10 or more points. We're going to redouble in that spot, and then we'll raise spades later, okay? And in fact, how about we take a look at this auction? 1 spade by north, double by east, redouble by south, the start to our auction. Now it went 2 clubs, pass, pass, and south bids 2 spades. Does this bid show a game forcing hand? Show a spade fit and invitational values? Just show a preference for spades, just kind of trying to buy a contract? Or does it just show a raise of spades, 6 to 10 and 3 plus spades? This auction, what is South showing here? And this will be your last chance to excel today, guys. So you have to take everything into account. Both bids that South made make up their description of their hand. The first bid that they made showed their values, and their values were announced to be 10 or more points, which, by the way, a good 10 or more points is an invitational hand. Okay. And then they bid 2 spades. They would not do this without a fit. Right. So the correct answer was B on this one, because their redouble said, hey, partner, I have any hand that has 10 or more points, basically. And now when it got passed back to them, they bid only 2 spades. So what they're saying is very likely they have that good 10 to probably like 11 points, and that's it. Right? Because they could have bid 3 spades. They could have bid 4 spades. They just bid 2 spades, right? So here, when they go about it this way, they're saying, hey, I have that minimum value you're talking about, 10 or more points, but probably like 10 or 11, but I have a spade fit. It absolutely can never be D, because what would they have done here? What would their first bid be if they had 6 to a bad 10 points and 3 or more spades? Exactly. They would have made this bid originally. They would never redouble because they don't have the values to do that, guys. The redouble is what started the floor being higher for their values, right? Hey, partner, I'm starting here. I have a good 10 or more. So now when they come back and bid 2 spades, it's honestly amazing. Because if North has a weak hand, they get to play only the 2 level, right? They haven't grinded up to the 3 level at all here, right? And when they have a good hand, right, they get to know this right away and have room to kind of explore other options, right? So this was the last of the questions, at least for the live portion. There's another 12 question grid there for you guys at the end, and a couple other random questions for you guys to jump in on the homework. I hope you enjoyed this. No classes for the rest of this month. With the Memorial Day holiday, we're just taking the first week of June off, but then we're back to live classes in the second, third, and fourth week of June. So I'll be sending you guys some messages, doing a ton of stuff on YouTube, as I'm sure most of you have seen. So definitely check that out. And if you haven't, subscribed to that channel and you'll just get notified whenever I put anything new up there. So stay in touch in both of those mediums, guys. And we'll see you back here for another live class in a couple of weeks. So enjoy the holiday. Thank you guys so much for joining. And we will see you guys super soon, either in the games or the classes. Take care.